Plaintiff Cynthia Douglas Clearman was married to the defendant, and they divorced 15 years ago. Cynthia says she tried to make their marriage work, but she suspected the defendant was cheating with the woman he's now married to, so she filed for divorce. Cynthia is suing for medical bills. Defendant Ralph Douglas says he was in love with Cynthia when she asked for a divorce and insists he did everything to save their marriage. Ralph denies cheating on Cynthia, and he believes she was the one cheating with her current husband, who's with her in court today. Ralph denies owing Cynthia for their son's medical bills.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Tell me what's happening.
Ralph and I have been divorced about 15 years now. While we were living apart, we were going to counseling to try to, resolve the marriage or, issues in there. I believe that he was having an affair, and we went to counseling at church as we were living apart, and I had a counseling appointment, and then he would have a counseling appointment. Well, he started showing up before my counseling appointment, and they were, collaborating, and I just felt like I was being ambushed.
Who was collaborating?
He and the pastor.
Oh, okay.
And so, and besides, when I would go...
the pastor was dishonest with you guys?
Yeah, he was.
Okay.
And so...
so the pastor was cheating too. I mean, cheating in terms of not being honest.
I think he wasn't being honest.
And he was cheating.
I believe he was.
Okay, were they cheating together?
I hope not.
No, I'm just saying. I'll leave it alone. Don't you all sit there, ooh, ah.
Your Honor.
That happens, believe me. Go ahead, ma'am. What else?
So, and on the occasion that he would have our kids, for an evening when he took them, I would go to pick them up, and the same woman that he's married to now would be at his house. So, I felt like he was just not honest, and the counseling was going nowhere, and so I filed for a divorce. Our kids had been through enough. We do have two kids, Kelly and Nick. And
how old were they when you divorced?
Kelly was, I want to say, about 2, and Nick was 4.
Okay.
So he wasn't really involved in their lives there. It was really hard to get them to go with him.
Why?
They just weren't comfortable. Kelly went down kicking and screaming down the cul-de-sac. It was really hard.
You didn't encourage him?
I did. I told him, you need to go with your dad and spend time with your dad. You get one dad, and I tell him that to this day.
Why do you think that was?
I don't know. I just think that him not being at the house was, out of the ordinary, and they just weren't comfortable going off. And
did they ever become comfortable?
They really have not had too much of they have a relationship, but it's really not.
Why do you think that is?
We were always fighting when we were married, and I just don't think that they ever really got that bond. Just even when he and I tried to go out and do things, I'd try to set up a babysitter so that he and I could go out and do something, and we'd turn around at the other side of the bridge because he didn't want to go out to dance or to eat or whatever. He'd just rather stay at home or, go fishing or, it was just absent.
So you think the children perceived him being a negative force in the marriage and in the household, and so that spilled over when he left? Is that what you're saying?
It may have been. It just wasn't comfortable for them.
Sir, what do you think? I'm interested in knowing.
I believe Cindy is an inaccurate historian. She doesn't really remember what really happened. This is how it happened. I came home one day and there was divorce papers on my counter right before Thanksgiving. I sought out help from my church pastor, who is also a counselor. She wanted me to sign the divorce papers. I would not sign the divorce papers. I talked to my pastor. My pastor said, tell her if she would come to counseling, you will sign the papers after a counseling session. So we agreed to do 6 weeks of counseling. After the second visit, my pastor, which was also the counselor, told me that she probably had somebody else. She did not want to continue counseling. I believe she was having an affair with her husband, who's here now in the courtroom, which she also worked with, Your Honor.
I didn't meet him until after. I didn't meet him until way after divorce papers were filed.
Within 2 weeks of our divorce finalizing, she was seen with him. The kids also told me they were at a picnic, a company picnic together. I wanted our relationship to continue. I was in love with this one. We built our dream house.
Tell me about the situation with your children.
My children, I went to parenting classes so I can be a better dad. Single parenting classes right after this. I told myself I was going to be the best dad I can be.
Good.
And I did things with the church to which
Are you and your
involved
children
kids.
estranged, as she alleges?
No. I picked them up every Wednesday, every other weekend.
All right, let's get to the medical bills you're suing for. $1,155.
Nicholas is a full-time student. He goes to college.
Who is Nicholas?
Our son.
All right.
And he did live with his dad for a year. Things didn't work.
Kicking and screaming?
He wanted to stay with him so he could finish school.
Whatever the reason. All right. He wanted to stay with his dad.
Right.
Good enough.
And then he called me. We had all got plane tickets and we're going to Washington for his senior graduation. He called me about a month before that saying, Mom, this isn't working out. The kids are breaking into my room. They're stealing my stuff. Everything's always my fault. Dad's not standing up for me. Can I come live with you and Barry and Kelly? And I said, absolutely. So, at that point when we got there, I packed up all of his stuff. I hired a freight company and shipped his car here.
How does he owe you for medical bills?
Nicholas has been in an automobile accident or motorcycle accident. He's had several other issues to where he's required medical care, which wasn't just $100 or $200. It's come up to quite an amount. And in our paperwork that he agreed to, he is
order, the judge's order.
Yes, he is responsible for 70% of extraordinary medical.
He has not paid it.
No,
Sir?
Your Honor, in 2007, when she decided to move, my daughter was coming over and crying every day. She did not want to go to Alabama.
Doesn't want to be with her.
I
Your
had
son
to file.
doesn't want to be with you.
I
Fine.
had to file a restraining order, so she could not take her out of the state.
10
I
days
went to
before I
court,
left.
and we decided at the last moment. I don't know if she bribed Kelly or not to stay with her, which I was fine with. If she wanted to stay with her and moved her, at the last moment she did. So we went through the court and she stayed with her mom.
No, the judge said she was coming with me.
What did the judge say about these medical bills? That's what we're here for.
Okay, so the medical bills, Nicholas is 21 years old now. Nicholas works 2 jobs. I have provided for his schooling, which he goes to, and I've paid for everything I was required to pay and above.
Okay. And so the 70% she's referring to became invalid when? Are you suggesting after he turned 18?
Not for schooling, for medical bill.
All right. So you were no longer responsible after the age of 18? Is that your defense?
Our high school.
Okay. And you have that order that says that?
After 18, where I have it outlined.
Termination of support.
That's for monthly support.
Support shall be paid until the children reach the age of 18 or as long as the children remain enrolled in high school. Medical insurance will still be paid for by each parent at the percentage shown. Mother 30, father 70.
Until when, though?
You show me. It doesn't say. You say it says until 18. Show me where it says until 18.
It doesn't really say, Your Honor, exactly when.
I know it doesn't. And you're trying to state that based on the child support payments ending at 18, you presume that it means medical.
Yes.
All you can presume is what.
Either way,
what
that's
is in
why we're
writing.
here. That's why we're here, because we need
for me
somebody
to
else.
make the no. I can't amend an order by a judge. You have to go back to that judge and have the judge amend a marriage or child support order. All I can do is enforce what the judge has already decided on. And quite frankly, I'm giving you a hard time, but you're not a lawyer. You wouldn't know how to interpret this, and it is vague. This judge included a vague clause. It doesn't give a time frame for the medical bills. And he says the son is 21. Is it 18 or is it 21? The judge doesn't say.
Right. Well, you can, as far as insurance and what have you, you can do. They're able to be on your coverage until they graduate from college or age 26.
But where do you see that explicitly?
Right. It's not in here, but I'm saying as far as insurance is allowed.
That's what insurance allows, but that's not what the judge ordered. See, all we're going by is what the judge ordered. And the judge even said to you, full medical, dental, and vision insurance will be continued by the mother.
Right.
Until when?
I didn't think it would stop at 21. I thought it would go through when he finished school, since he's still a dependent.
You even have another interpretation.
Well, because he's still a dependent as far as going, being a full-time student.
None of that is
I've
said
paid all
here.
of this, and I think that he should pay, his portion to help for his son.
The judge who made this order has to clarify what he or she meant. In the meantime, I'm sorry, I have to dismiss your case. I have to be fair. Case dismissed for no clarification.
People have to help their kids these days, He's a full-time student, and I think that his dad should pay that portion of it.
I'm willing to pay. I've always paid. That's all I care about is clarification. When it should be over is when it's over.